everybody, so glad you're here with me today. I was sitting around yesterday and I had this thought about a makeup look and I thought I'll just jump in and do it this week. I was really excited about it, and it was the thought of a makeup look that really does not follow any certain trends, be it application trends or just like trendy types of products. It's just something that is classic, that will always work, and that will never go out of style really. And if that's the kind of look you're wanting for everyday life or a certain occasion, you've come to the right video. All the products I've chosen are really good products, but they're not necessarily like the hot product of the moment. But it's just classic quality things for a classic look. That's what it is. As far as my coverage products go, it's a duo here. And before you freak out at the thought of something called Stay Matte and you're a little bit dry, it's not a drying primer. It's just very smoothing, and something about this in combination with my Rimmel Lasting Finish foundation, these are both Rimmel products, they just work so well for great staying power. I have heard nothing but good feedback from those of you who have gotten this and tried it. Rimmel Lasting Finish, I mean, talk about a classic product there. I used Rimmel Lasting Finish in the early days of my channel, and now here it is back in a completely different looking version, but the same great long wearing quality. And also, this isn't one that looks particularly super matte or really dewy on the skin. It's just a good classic foundation. But when I was thinking about what primer to use, I tossed around some different ones that I really do like, but I just happen to know what a truly great staying power pair these two are, so I thought I'm using the Stay Matte primer. So it comes out looking white, but don't worry, it really like thins out, just kind of blends out into your skin. I do notice a little impact on the pores around the nose. That's just kind of an area where I know I can see them, but after I put this on, they're kind of blurred. Honestly, I was just talking recently about the Benefit Professional Hydrate Primer is something I'd repurchased. I do really like that primer. This actually has sort of a similar feel to that, but it's a little bit lighter. Again, nothing new, nothing hyped, it's just something that's really good. And then I'm gonna take one full pump of my Rimmel Lasting Finish. Maybe I should wipe my nose first. Okay, one full pump of this. Just gonna dab it around. This can be blended with a brush or a sponge, it's your choice. I'm gonna use a sponge today just because I've been more into sponges lately. But let me tell you, it's gonna give beautifully even coverage, and it is just gonna lock in all day long. And it's just really good about not looking super heavy on the skin also, because I know there are a lot of good foundations out there where I tout the staying power, but this one isn't like as heavy as some of the rest. Blends in super easily, looking great. Oh, I still had a little extra here on the pump. I'm just gonna swipe that onto my beauty blender and see where she wants to go. If you've got a great staying power foundation, you're in a really good place for the rest of your makeup, because if the foundation is struggling, then everything else you put on top is gonna struggle. But if it's a foundation that's gonna last well, I feel like everything else kind of follows suit. Now, a classic concealer that I think would fall into any look you wanted to do really, but just give you great coverage, perfect the skin. It's really so good, and a little bit goes a long way. I'm talking about the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I wear the shade Light Peach. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I just use a couple of little dots here on the inner part of the eye, outer part of the eye. We go around the nose, that's where I have a little redness, but you know, pay attention to the spots that you have wherever you have them on your skin. And I just adore the way this wears on the skin, the way it blends out. I also really like Rimmel's concealer, by the way, but I didn't want this to turn into a full-on like, hey, Rimmel complexion video, because I know I have done that before. But this just gives a beautiful coverage and honestly a little more moisture than the Rimmel Multitasker Concealer does. So if you're feeling a little dry, I know I was out in the pool for like 2 afternoons now, my skin's feeling a little more dry. I can take advantage of a concealer that's going to hydrate me a little bit more around that eye area. But I'm not using a lot, you know, it's just small dots. Let go of the idea of taking that doe foot and really swiping it all over. Just give small dots. It will be enough, I promise. I do what I can with the beauty blender there, and then I take a small brush and I make sure it's all getting where it needs to be in those small areas. I tell you what, guys, this is your no-fail look. This is your look where it's like, okay, I got something important going on. I really don't care if I'm using the latest and greatest products. Just give me what's good and what will give me a classic, timeless look. This is that stuff. Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder. The classic loose powder, the best in the drugstore. Get the shade Fair if you're a similar color tone to me, and you will have the best kind of like brightening setting powder type deal here. I take kind of a healthy amount on a little triangle powder puff, and I just dab it on the under eye area. You might think, Em, you are 40. Is this too much for you? Does this end up looking thick? Absolutely not. What happens is it stays all day. Maybe it's Maybelline. I mean, it is Maybelline. Okay, a small amount on T-zone, but we're also getting under eye. And when I say T-zone, I am really going around the nostrils. I am pressing into that nose area for the best staying power, okay? And then take a smallish brush, take what's gotten applied around the eye area, and it's kind of a combo of flicking away excess and then kind of blending in what stays, if you know what I mean. We didn't do a massive bake, but I sometimes call this microwaving here on this channel. It does the job so well. It takes care of any creasing or staying power problems that could happen there, and it's just gonna keep the look looking more fresh, more like the way it was initially applied. When I do that step, what can I say? It works. For a bronzer, we just want a classic bronzer. We don't need the latest liquid bronzer that we saw coming out of this and that odd shaped tube and whatever. Just give us a classic bronzer that will do the job of bronzing, contouring. This is Hard Candy Instant Summer. The shade is tan. It feels like a high-end bronzer. It is soft, it's creamy to the touch, it's honestly the best you can get, and it's the best price. What gets me is, I think this feels even more luxe than the L'Oreal Infallible bronzers, but they're charging half the price over here at Hard Candy. Actually, probably less than half the price. You don't always have to go with what's hot at the moment, just go with what's best. Okay, I gotta take this off. I'm just gonna clip her back. When I'm getting annoyed with something in the back of my mind, I just gotta do something about it promptly. Okay, picking up more. Quickest ever, most effective contour there. It's just so easy. The way this blends, it's great. They have multiple shades. Next up, we're going to do a little blush, and I'm knowing at this point in the look, we are very matte. You know, we've used an all-in-all matte foundation. We've set things, we've got the matte bronzer. We need to start ushering in a little bit of a glow to the look. And I'm pulling in a cream blush here. This is from Milani. It's the Cheek Kiss blush, and the shade is called Nude Kiss. And I really feel like, even if you want to wear a little different lip color than I choose in this video, I feel like this cream blush would still be very workable and flattering regardless. It says Nude Kiss. It's not like a beigey nude color. It's just like a soft rose, I guess is how I'd put it. And the fact that we're using cream, it's a very thin cream. We're kind of taking the surface of the skin right here where light kind of comes in and hits, and we're making it look a little less powdery. This isn't a product that contains shimmer, but just the nature of its formula is going to make the surface of our skin look a little more skin-like, right up there where it counts. Heck, I'm gonna build it up a little more over here. It is a little bit toasty, I would say, kind of like a soft, warm rose, but I'm a fan. I could just see this coming in being part of really any direction you want to go on eyes or lips. Then here's where the skin's really going to sing. We're bringing in a highlighter. I'm still using off of my mini size of this Milani Strobe Light Highlighter in Afterglow. It is such a flawless classic highlight, guys. It really has a texture, makes you think of like Becca highlighters. We're just going to carefully dip our Real Techniques setting brush in there and just put this, I'm thinking about going underneath where the eye is for initial putting the brush and then sweeping it up and just really get that buffed into the skin, that little place there. And no one will be able to detect actual product, but the skin just looks like it has that perfect luminous glow without actually feeling dewy, so it'll last. And get a little bit up here on the forehead. I kind of go above the brow and swirl upward, because this is where the forehead's kind of protruding right out in this front part. It doesn't have to even be a lot, like whatever's left on the brush can be enough. And then I get hit a little bit on the Cupid's bow. Ooh, I forgot to put lip balm on. I'm gonna do that. Also, I want the hair like completely out of the picture. I'm gonna do like a little low twist thing. I'm taking e.l.f. this lip balm, by the way. Just need to soften things up. So here's the face. I feel covered. I feel like I've got a cheek going on. I've got some glow. 100% the kind of look that's going to get me through the whole day. But then we move on to brows. I would say I probably am liking a skinny brow pencil most, and I think you could probably reach for one and end up getting along well with it from most any brand. Today I'm going to use the Clean Fresh Brow, the nano pencil from CoverGirl. It's really skinny, and I'm going to pair that with the Clean Fresh Brow Gel Wax. Now, if you want something colorless, I think this may be my favorite colorless gel. It really, really holds. The texture of it's just very good. And if you want something tinted, go for the Maybelline Brow Fast Sculpt. But I'm just going to take my skinny little pencil here. What shade do I wear? Dark brown. And I'm going to get my brows filled in. This pencil is great for doing the little hair-like strokes. I need to look into getting one of these for Mom because she's always looking for a good brow pencil, and she uses Brow Wiz and Taupe. But this is actually even a little skinnier than Brow Wiz. And if you're really recreating a brow and wanting those little hairs, it's good for that. It really quickly does the job. I think I've always talked about e.l.f.'s Instant Lift pencil and how like those are a little thicker pencil. And for a while, I really believed that they were filling in my brow faster because the pencil was thicker. It was just doing the job faster. However, I feel like kind of these days I'm doing it faster with a skinnier one because I'm getting exactly where I want to be filling in. Like I'm not just kind of raking over the brow generally and hoping the fill-in goes to the right spots. Like I'm making a very pinpointed attack on the bare area, you know? The problem with being in the pool into the evening hours is that then the dinner time frame completely can get past you. I was proud of myself last night because I planned what the kids were going to have. I have these little like 4-compartment containers, and I can like make my own Lunchables and put different things in there, stick them in the fridge, and then just pull them out, and they just love throwing out their towel and eating by the side of the pool. They like that style of life, and then they're jumping back in the pool, right? All right, that's good and all, but if I want to bake salmon, things need to wrap up faster out there in the pool. We stay out there right until Bubba needs to go to bed. Need to wrap it up a little sooner. I've been meaning to make salmon for 2 nights. Got that fill in, and then I take, again, the gel wax. It's gonna look kind of milky and a little bit like, what exactly is this formula? But the hold is so good. So good in there. And it's not so milky that it's leaving a residue type of vibe, you know, like it's not depositing white. I think Milani had something that was actually looking whitish in my brows, and I just couldn't quite overcome it with my already very dark brows. But this is real good. It's like the ability of the gel has been stepped up by the wax being mixed in. Cool product. All right, so brows are done. We're moving on to an eye primer. We're gonna use our most trusted eye primer. It is Milani Eyeshadow Primer. I'm looking at myself and I'm thinking, have I really gone through like 3 different looks of my hair in this video? And this may not be it for me. Like, what's with this weird bump of the hair happening here? Milani just doesn't fail, okay? The e.l.f. one didn't really fail me either, that new e.l.f. one. However, I do think the Milani neutralizes lid discoloration just a little bit more than that one did. It's not a big issue because we're going right on with powder eyeshadow of varying shades, so I don't worry a ton about the discoloration of the lids, but it's just a difference I've noticed with the couple of different primers. For eyeshadow, we're going all matte and we're going neutral. That to me is really timeless. We're gonna like just contour that eye. We're gonna make that eye look sculpted and beautiful without really like, here's this shade, here's that shade, here's some shimmer. We're going with this. This little palette from e.l.f. is actually really, really good. And if you like kind of a dusty rose, brownish rose thing, there's actually a lot of that right in here. But this is the All Matte Perfect 10 palette. I think it's Nude Mood. And we're just gonna get something really soft and natural going here today. I'm gonna go for the 3rd shade in, this soft light brown, and get that going in the crease. The thing is here, I feel like maybe matte looks are kind of the trend, you know? I think a lot of people are seeing the flawless appeal of a matte look, but I do think it happens to be a timelessly beautiful look, and this is a way you can do it at a drugstore price. So we're using that one right there, and then we're saying let's deepen it up a little. Let's go to this shade, little bit rosy, little dusty rose. Work that in. Let it come up a little bit too, because that shade's beautiful as it starts to sheer out. See? See how beautifully these shades sheer out? I mean, this is classic, easy. Use whatever space you have. If it's less space, then, you know, obviously don't go up as high. This really is gonna bring kind of a lift to the eye look. By the way, I feel like this brow is almost looking too neat. She needs to be roughed up just a little bit. Then I would definitely go to this one right next door. It's kind of a dusty peach. And I think this would be beautiful for further blending and making, just having that whole area look super duper seamless. Nice and easy, round the edge. Good, good. And then take one of your lighter shades. We've got this beige here. We also have a pure white. Take a little beige. Make that be the thing that's ultimately like the very closest to the brow. But I mean, we haven't left a lot of space. Everything's in kind of an overlap mode, but see that? Really easy crease. Now we think, do we want to go darker on the lid? I want to give you an idea of what you can do if you want things to look even more like pinpointedly lifted. We've got several dark shades over here. We've got cooler things. This very dark brown. We've got a gray. We've got darker, maybe warmish brown. Not really that warm though. I'm going to pick up some of that. That's the third one in from that side. And it's pigmented and it's easy. There's a certain satisfaction that comes with blending matte shades together on the eyes. Don't fight it, just enjoy it. Flip the brush over. So what I mean by that is I was first putting it on this way, pat, 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 and then I'm gonna turn the brush so that same side that had product on it is gonna hit the crease right in there and pull upward a little bit. And then we get that application in two places there, okay? So it's now applying here. And then we'll come in with another brush and really get that blended. But see what's happening? This shade, boop, 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 patting. It's so easy. I'm leaving a little life to the inner part of the lid because honestly, I am feeling a little tired. I'm feeling a little worn down this morning. I feel the brightness on the innermost part of the lid is gonna save me somehow. So again, patting, flipping that brush. Now the side that held product is getting it here. It's getting it to the crease and it's getting up, 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 lifting beyond that little creasy line, okay? Next up, here's what I would recommend for your easiest blend. We're gonna go a little bit lighter than that shade. I love working with the gradients in this palette, nice and easy. This was what we just used, okay? Go to the shade right next to that that's a little lighter with a smallish brush, like a Profusion small pointed, and let that be what you use. Just a little of that on your brush to really blend everything. It's like your little helper shade. It's the little liaison shade that helps incorporate the darkness into the other things that were first in the crease. And when you're using a palette with that close gradient where the shades aren't too far off one to the next, you can do stuff like this really easily. It's very easy to spot that next shade up. And then when it goes over the darkness, it's filled up my entire memory card there, but when it starts to go over that darkness, it's like, yes, it was meant to be. That's what we needed to do. All right, so we got lift. We got contrast there. We are going to just take a little bit of one of the lighter shades and pop it on the lid. We don't even need to go to our absolute lightest shades, but how about just a little bit of this peach? Yep, that'll do it. So the first place we put our brush is where the most product goes, so we started here and just kind of letting it overlap just gently. There's really not much that has to be done with this shade. Just let it overlap a little bit. You don't have to do a bunch of building, patting, any special technique, you know. I just used a little bit smaller flat brush than I first pulled in. Now, if you want to do a little smokiness on your lower lash line, be my guest. There are many shades in here that would be good for that. I'm going to keep it a little bit more upper eye focused, and I'm going to do lazy liner, but with a drugstore twist. I have this shade called Lights Out from Hard Candy, and it reminds me a lot of Soft Black from Laura Geller, who is the queen of the lazy liner pencils. And I'm just going to take this chubby black pencil, and I'm going to take it along my upper lash line. Already, upon application, before I even touch it, it looks kind of like a pre-smudged liner. But because this is black, I go over it a little extra with my finger to smudge. But, I mean, it's the most effortless liner thing. If you want to use liquid liner, go for it. This stuff, it's not gonna move. It's gonna be smudgeable right at the start and then it's gonna lock in. Just a little. I mean, you could see I'm not actually even covering the whole eye. I'm covering 2/3 of the eye. And if you're interested in doing a more smoky look, a darkened look with this stuff, it can wear really well in the lower inner rim too. Then for mascara, I'm choosing one of my favorite lengthening mascaras in the drugstore. It is the L'Oreal Voluminous Superstar Red Carpet Black. It has the 2 steps. One step's gonna prime, one step's gonna give you the blackness. And I really feel like this is one of my absolute favorites for long lashes. So I'm gonna curl the lashes first. That's very important for me. And we're just gonna get this classic, really lifted eye with this type of look because as you can see, shadow is all on the upper part of the eye as opposed to really coming down in here. And then we're gonna have lashes that try to really lift up and be long. I think we're really playing into the classic type of look. So step 1, it doesn't take a lot of this. Whoa, I just booped myself on the nose. Just feel like you've coated every lash and you're done. You don't need to like do multiple coats of the white. Sometimes when I'm editing videos, I feel like the mascara part can be really boring. Like goes on forever. The amount of raw footage, you know, I'm cutting it down more for what you see. But it's like, it can go on a long time. Especially like that last video where I was using, what was it? That mascara from the Pretty Smart line. It took forever to want to build. I had so much video to just wade through. Someone's here. Hello, Betty. Can only see you with my one eye right now. How are you doing?
Good.
Feeling frisky after that long swim we had yesterday? Yeah? 5 hours. We had fun. Now we're going to roll in with step number 2. You can see they've put a differently shaped brush on this one. The side 1 was kind of like a very subtle hourglass, and this one is a curved brush. Looks like it's holding a little more product. And we're just going to take that side now. Oops, I've got like something else trying to get on board. We're just going to start loading this up and start experiencing wonderful length. I think it's taken me back to my double extend days. Double extend for a period of time in my life was the only mascara to get. It was Emily Noel, the college years. It's part of that era. One end of the packaging was white, one end was kind of gold. Repurchased that many times over from the area Shopko. Now my college town up there, Monmouth, Illinois, back when I was in school, they certainly didn't have the Taco Bell in town. And I think they now have a Walgreens, which they didn't have either. I'm kind of surprised they didn't have a Walgreens in town. There wasn't a lot. We stayed entertained. See the length we're building up here? It's truly phenomenal. Voluminous Superstar Red Carpet Black. Really nice length. After you do your one black coat, you really won't have to be building up additional coats. So it's a maximum like 2 coats per eye type of thing, you know, which is nice. The less raking through, the better if your lashes don't want to curl. Now I did get a little sloppy with it over here, but if I let that rest, I can soon flake it away. I'm going to do one more thing here for the eyes, and it's taking some kind of tubing mascara on the lower lashes so we can trust that it's not going to smudge. Because as much as I like that mascara I just put up top there, I don't know if I'd trust it on the bottom. So I'm just taking a little bit of Cali Ray Come Hell or High Water right there lightly, lower lash line. Does not take much. This is a pretty fresh tube, and if I get a little too much on there, I'm like, whoa, overload. Another drugstore option for a good tubing one that won't smear down here would be the e.l.f. Lash Extender, which I noticed my Walmart is carrying that now. Used to be I could only find it on e.l.f.'s website, but look at those lashes. I'm proud of that look, okay? Then we're gonna move on to lips. To round out the classic kind of look, I wanna go reddish on the lips. I was envisioning a little bit of a warm red, not maybe as full on as like a Besame red hot red, you know, Maryland's signature color type of thing. A little softer than that, but still a really like special looking red lips. So what I'm first gonna do, instead of using a full-on red lip liner, because I'm not feeling like doing the most crispy red lip, okay? I want it to be put together, but maybe a little soft. So Milani Understatement Lip Liner in the shade Cinnamon Statement. Think about a lip liner that you have that's a little bit on the warm side. Does not need to be pure red, and I wouldn't even advise pure red. Just go with this. It'll all make sense in a minute. Get your line on. Okay, that's good. We're well defined. And then I was thinking of this shade from Revlon. This is one of their newer super lustrous lipsticks. It does not get more classic than a Revlon super lustrous lipstick, by the way. But this is the shade 809 Wild Saffron. So pretty, a little bit warm. There is a shade, if you like cooler and a little deeper, think about the color, I think it's called Uncut Rubies. You'll like that, but I'm gonna go straight off the bullet here. Boom. And see how that nude liner, well, it wasn't fully nude, right? It was a little deeper, a little warmer, but it gives us the definition we want without looking like, oh, so much color, so much heavy line color, because I want this shade to be the color of the look. And sometimes lip liner color can take over a little bit. There is something so fresh about that shade of red, okay? And it's really just the cherry on top of the classic makeup look. And I could not be more pleased with the finish really on the surface of the skin. We took it full coverage and pretty matte for a few steps there, but then the blush, having it be a cream blush, having it be honestly kind of an intense highlighter that we sheared out to where it just looks dewy without being touchably dewy. Love the all matte eye, keeping things kind of focused above the eye on the upper part there. You cannot miss with this look, guys, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments section or any products that you feel you would sub in for different things that I chose to use in this video. And I look forward to seeing you again next time. I love you. Bye.